Okay. Happy Halloween and all of that. So we had an amazing trip. We had incredible meetings with President Xi of China. As you know, with the brilliant new Prime Minister of Japan. We just had a great time. And with the President of South Korea, we had an amazing journey. We also saw a lot of other countries. We brought back home with us trillions of dollars, many trillions of dollars. And our country is doing well. The shutdown proceeds because the Democrats just don't know what they're doing. I don't know what's wrong with them. They've never done a thing like this. They've become crazed lunatics. All they have to do is say, let's go, let's open up our country, and everything snaps back into shape. So there's something wrong with them. I'm always going to meet. All they have to do is open up the country. Let them open up the country, and we'll meet. We'll meet very quickly. But they have to open up the country. It's their fault. Everything is their fault. It's so easily solved. You know, we have a number of Democrats that have already voted for this. But the Republicans are very unified. They're very strong. And they want to do what's right for the country. They don't want to see trillions of dollars wasted on people that came into our country illegally, many from prisons and many from areas that you don't want to even know about. So we'd like to see this taken care of rapidly. You have a lot of, we have tremendous support, but it's not even support, it's common sense. Open up the country.
Today, we're looking straight into the eye of an engineered crisis. For the last 5 weeks, the federal government has been shut down. But this ain't no ordinary budget squabble. This is a political weapon pointed directly at the stability and security of the American home. The first and most devastating casualty of this political war is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, or simply food stamps. The funding for this program expired this morning. The cutoff threatens to halt food benefits for 42 million people. That's 1 out of every 8 individuals in the nation. This isn't a partial shutdown. It's a total cessation of funds. For millions of families, the ability to buy groceries is gone. And let's be clear, this crisis ain't an accident. It's manufactured. It's a desperate, cynical gambit by one political party who's willing to inflict mass suffering for political gain. And the truth about why they're doing this is far more disturbing than the news will tell you.
Courage, compassion, faith, freedom, truth. Welcome to Courage in the Darkness with your host, Phillip Roberts. It's time to awaken America.
Pay close attention to the language used by one side of the aisle. The Democrats and their media allies consistently refer to the affected as 42 million people or recipients. They almost never say 42 million Americans. There's a hard, unavoidable truth hiding in that semantic choice. A truth that this shutdown is forced into the daylight. The program, funded by the American taxpayer, is being disproportionately consumed by those who are not American citizens. For decades, the public has been told that our safety net programs paid for by your taxes are there for your neighbors, for the truly needy, and for the American citizen. But look at what the newly focused data confirms. The household usage rates for welfare programs, including food aid, are significantly higher among immigrant-headed households than among households headed by U.S.-born citizens. This isn't a matter of debate. It's what the data shows. And the truth about those who have entered this country illegally is even more staggering. According to a 2022 analysis, an estimated 59% of households headed by illegal aliens use at least one major welfare program, including food programs like SNAP or WIC. Let the implications of this sink in. The American taxpayer is funding a socialized lifestyle for millions of people who have no legal right to be here. This reveals the catastrophic, immediate cost of the wide open border policy. Millions of those who have crossed the border under the current administration are now actively draining a program that is now failing our own citizens. The Joe Biden illegal alien surge has placed a direct, unsustainable fiscal burden on the American worker. The Democrats know this. They can't use the word Americans because the voting public would instantly recognize that the program, which is now collapsing, has been exploited to support a non-citizen population at the expense of our own people. This is a betrayal of the highest order. And now let's look at the political dynamic, the pure intentional sabotage that led us here. The Democrats are attempting to frame the shutdown and the food stamp crisis as the fault of the opposition. It's a manufactured narrative designed to provoke a reaction. Let's look at the facts of the vote in the Senate. A clean short-term funding bill was put on the floor. This bill would have fully funded the government and kept SNAP benefits flowing for everyone. The Republicans, to their credit, voted unanimously to approve the bill. They voted to keep the government open. The Democrats voted unanimously against the bill. The math is simple. In the Senate, you need 60 votes to move legislation. Republicans needed just five Democrats to cross the aisle and say yes to fund the government to stop the crisis and prevent 42 million people from losing their food benefits. 5 votes. They refused. 5 votes. Their refusal is not about budget technicalities. It's a calculated move. They want the chaos. They want the government closed. They want the food benefits cut off. The goal is to create the kind of national despair and crisis that can be leveraged for political gain. They're actively seeking to create riots and violent protests in the streets so they can blame the political opposition and sweep to victory in the next election. They're willing to starve their way to political power. The threats are real, and they're escalating into a major public safety concern. Many recipients, when facing the sudden loss of benefits, they ain't saying that they're going to turn to churches or charities. Instead, they started issuing threats. They're stating they're going to resort to stealing or violence to feed their families. This is a direct consequence of creating millions of desperate, dependent people. Major retailers are reacting to the clear and present danger. Like large chains like Walmart, Target, Kroger, Costco have already announced precautionary store closures or reduced operating hours starting November 1st. They're preparing for mass looting and civil unrest. They fear a breakdown of public order. Look at social media. Citizens are warning each other to stock up, stay home, and be cautious when simply going to buy groceries. The fear is tangible. The political decision by the Democrats to hold up government funding has brought us to the point where a simple trip to the supermarket is now considered a potential security risk for a law-abiding American? This is a stunning collapse of the basic promise of public safety. We've seen the failure of the political class. We've seen the failure of an over-leveraged, exploited welfare state. Now, it's time for the American people to step up for their fellow Americans. We can't wait for Washington. We've got to act where the government has failed. We've got to show our compassion and our charity are anchored in our community and in our faith. We bypass the bureaucracy and the politics by turning to our local institutions. And here's what you can do today to help the truly needy. the American citizens, the elderly, the children, the disabled who are caught in the crossfire. Donate non-perishable food items at your local church or pantry or food bank. Volunteer your time at a soup kitchen. They're about to be overwhelmed. Pay it forward for a family in your neighborhood. Cook an extra meal. Find a family to sponsor privately. We have a spiritual obligation to care for our own. Let this crisis be the moment where our faith and our community shine through the darkness, demonstrating strength that politics can never break. God will always provide for his people. And often, that provision comes through the hands of faithful neighbors. I want to leave you with a word that centers us in this commitment from Romans chapter 12, verse 13. Share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Be a blessing. Be a protector. Be American.